Hi, ladies, and welcome back. There are a few really awesome announcements coming. So first, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll jump into the video shortly. Today's topic is how do I clean my baby's umbilical cord? We'll go into a few other things. I really like this. How often? So we'll look into things like that as well. But excuse me. Announcements first. Um, if you've noticed, right, the channel name has changed to Mommy Like a Boss. Yeah. hmm from Chubby After Baby. And this change was due to, I really wanted to also focus on um, sort of the entrepreneurial side of being a mom, right? Starting your own business, working from home, and taking care of your kid at the same time. And so I felt the new name, Mommy Like a Boss, would cover that. Also, we'll be adding in additional content, not just necessarily about new software or ways to become an entrepreneur or ways to make money online from home. Um, but I also want to talk about, some recommended products and things like that from Amazon that I really think you'll like as new moms. It's just, as well as some really funny videos and content. Ooh, excuse me. So I'm really looking forward to the growth and the expansion of the channel. If there's anything that you would love me or like me to cover, be sure to leave that comment below in the comment section. And, who knows, maybe I'll make a video of it and I can give you my opinion. All right. I think that covers all the announcements. So let's just kind of go ahead and dive in today's video. Um, as always, these are questions, that uh, a lot of new moms have. And instead of giving you just, my personal opinion, I really love to go through and search and show you what's coming up, right? What Google is saying, what some of the um, authority websites and voices, are saying so that you get more than just my opinion or more than just the opinion from a friend or family, but it gives you a wider view and take what you like and leave what you don't. All right, so how do I clean my baby's umbilical cord? And right off the bat, we're looking at mountsinai.org. uh, so see, a sponge bath is the best way to clean your baby until the umbilical cord falls off. To give a sponge bath, dip soft cloth in warm water, wring out excess. Uh, right. If needed, mild soap can be used in the water. Let's see. Let's open up the Mayo Clinic. Love that they've got do's and don'ts. AmericanPregnancy.org. We'll see what they are. Parents. There's an Australian one. JohnsonsBaby.com. All right. WebMD, Healthline. All right, we're probably not going to get to all of these. Johnson, I think maybe the Johnson & Johnson site, so they may be slightly biased. And then that's a YouTube video. So we'll cover these right quick. All right. So Mayo Clinic, umbilical cord do's and don'ts. Let's see. Why your baby has an umbilical cord stump. See, during pregnancy, the umbilical cord supplies nutrients and oxygen. All right, we're familiar with that. Taking care of it. All right, let's look at taking care of the stump. Weird that they call it like a stump. I don't know. Let's see. A baby's umbilical cord dries out, eventually falls off within 1 to 3 weeks after birth. In the meantime, treat the area gently. They're talking about keeping it dry. Parents were once instructed to swab with rubbing alcohol after every diaper change. Researchers now say this might kill bacteria that can help the cord dry and separate. Instead, expose the stump to air to help it dry out its base. Keep the front of your baby's diaper folded down to avoid covering it up. All right, so they're saying zero alcohol, no alcohol. All right, stick with sponge baths. No harm in getting the stump wet. Sponge baths might be easier, right? Let the stump fall off on its own, right? They're like, this is not a pimple. This is not a bump, right? Resist the temptation to pull the stump yourself, right? So no pulling. Okay. See, signs, problems. All right. Little blood, scab. Might even bleed a little. Here we go. Contact the baby's health provider if the umbilical cord oozes pus, the surrounding skin becomes red and swollen, or the areas develop pink, moist bumps. These could be signs of umbilical cord infection. All right, so that's definitely something to look out and pay attention to. All right, so we learned a little bit. Keep it dry. Sponge baths are great. Do not pull the stump. All right, let's see. I like how they like have scissors right there, right? You just go ahead and like cut it off or something. All right. Umbilical cord care. Da, da, da. Check this out. Okay, so on AmericanPregnancy.org, right? And this is why we go through this. Okay, so keep the air clean, great. Pediatricians, right, used to recommend cleaning the base with rubbing alcohol. Again, we saw that from the previous one, but now they're recommending to leave it alone because alcohol is believed to irritate the skin and sometimes delays healing. Awesome. So it gave us a little bit more in depth, a little more information about why alcohol is no longer recommended um, for keeping the area clean. They also starting to say stuff like that with like cuts and things, just because they talk about how alcohol removes both the good and the bad bacteria, right? Versus like something like peroxide or even just washing the wound or something like that. Anyway, I digress. Not talking about that. All right. Uh, so this is different. Use golden seal root in echinacea, especially if you consult your child's pediatrician for these using either of these alternative methods. Uh, so essentially, it's just keeping it dry. But the both sites are recommending to fold down the baby's diaper to keep the cord from becoming irritated. Illustrated, right? Thanks. Good job. So, what I do like is that at least the parent American pregnancy is calling it the cord versus the stump. And that might seem a little semantic, and it totally is, but I don't know, just I don't know. I don't like the stump. It just I think of like a tree stump or like something that actively don't like, or I don't know, maybe they call it stump because it falls off. Okay, I'm I'm continuing on. Okay, sponge baths allow the cord to naturally heal. Oh, right, again, don't help the cord, right? This goes back to the no pulling. It's not a pimple, all right? And I say that right because like I've got like this massive pimple on my chin right now, and definitely resisting the urge to like pop it. So no popping, no pulling. All right. Signs of infection, and we went through some of these things. It also says foul smelling discharge, so keep an eye on that. Uh, when should I call? Signs of my baby's pediatrician, signs of infection. The cord is actively bleeding. This occurs normally if the cord is pulled off prematurely. Okay. Can I ensure my baby has an innie? There is no way to predict whether your child will have an innie or an outie. Many people believe that taping a coin or other flat objects over the navel will ensure their child has an innie, but this is not true. We're coming back to that. I feel like that is worth another search. Like, can I control if my baby has an innie? No, all right, we're gonna come back to that, right? Like, because that sounds super interesting. I never thought about that. Like, if you could really control it. All right. Do okay. There we go. Once again, no alcohol. Good. I mean, it's really good to see a lot of the sites, authority sites, kind of saying the same things. Um, just it adds to the concept of this is, I don't want to say correct, but you know this is what needs to be done, or best practices. That's the way we're going to call it. We're going to definitely call it best practices, um, because these best practices at the time change, right? Remember when like butter was awful for you and they came out with margarine, but then they found like margarine was worse for you, so they recommended that you go back to butter, or even like the whole thing with eggs, right? Like they were like, eggs aren't good for you. Eggs are good for you. It's a lot of back and forth. So recommended best practice at the time is no alcohol. And that's what we're sticking with right now. Let's see. All right. Again, we're talking about sponge baths. Wash your hands, lather up before handling the baby's umbilical cord. This is actually new in terms of the previous two sites we looked at. Washing hands prevents the spread of germs and any germs that might cause an infection. This is a really good point, just because that's a super sensitive and subjectable area at that time in your baby's life. So yeah, I can definitely see washing your hands before you touch um, the cord. See, we didn't call it the stump this time. The cord. All right. Do a quick inspection. Look for signs of infection. We've kind of gone through some of this stuff, yes. They added in tenderness, fever, lethargy, poor feeding. Okay. Wipe down the cord. This is different. And this is parents.com. Dot a cotton swab in warm water, squeeze the tip to remove excess water, gently clean around the base of the cord, then the surrounding skin, then hold the stump, get the stump, with a clear absorbent cloth. Or sorry, that definitely says clean. A clean absorbent cloth to dry it completely. It's important the umbilical cord remains clean and dry until it falls off. They keep talking about alcohol. If there's urine or poop in the cord area, it's no biggie. Simply cleaning it with a cotton swab in soapy warm water, then let it dry. Okay, awesome, right? That's a little bit more information we didn't have. To dry the cord, hold a clean, dry washcloth over the air gently, or use a piece of paper to fan it dry. Don't cover the stump when you put your baby's diaper on. Okay, again, we talked about folding it down. Extras, don't use any lotion, powder, oils. Yes, they're definitely unnecessary and could possibly cause infection. All right, so that's definitely new information. All right, and this gives a little bit more, right? The cord's falling off. You begin to bathe your baby in the shallow baby tub, lukewarm water. Simply clean the belly button area with soap and water. All right. So again, this gave us a little bit more of information, right? So parents.com is saying, you know, you can clean it with a dry washcloth or fan it with a paper to dry it off. Right? Don't use any oils, lotions, or powders, right? That makes a lot of sense. If you get urine or poop, or sorry, if the baby has urine or poop in the cord area, you can just simply clean it with a cotton swab. Wash your hands before you touch the umbilical cord, right? Great. All right, let's see. Covering the diaper, right? Okay. We also get more of the infection signs to look out for. And then they're recommending, looks like, some newborn products. So we are skipping that. Yep. See, again, johnsonbaby.com, right? So they're recommending that you use their products. So skipping, right? I feel like their review would be a little more biased. All right. We know what the umbilical cord is, so we're skipping that. Hey, they're calling it the cord stump. Maybe that's not quite as bad. I don't know. All right. Uh, okay, yep. So far the same, right? Be gentle, keep the cord clean and dry, leave the cord alone, and fold the diaper. Right. Look out for infection signs. All right. Umbilical cord complications. Okay, yeah. No, that's just going back to the signs of infection and stuff like that. Awesome. I do. I hate these cookie things. So how's the umbilical cord removed? In order to cut the umbilical cord, doctors clamp it in two places and cut between the two. This prevents too much bleeding, right? We've all seen it. They don't have any nerves, so it doesn't hurt. Oh, they compare it to getting a haircut or clipping your nails. Okay. Says, however, the umbilical cord stump is attached to living tissue on your baby's abdomen, so you want to be very careful with the stump in surrounding areas. Let's see. Okay, so far so good. You got the same kind of information. This gives extra information in the sense of, focus on neck folds and armpits, where milk or formula often collects. Oh, yes. The rashes and the raw skin from those areas. Yeah. Let's see. All right. So umbilical cord stump usually falls off in 1 to 3 weeks after birth, after your birth, right? Talk to your doctor if the cord stump has not fallen off within 3 weeks. It could be a sign of underlying problems. That's new, right? Never even really considered what would happen if the stump didn't fall off. Uh, when the belly button has totally healed, the stump will fall off easily. Some parents save the stump as nostalgic reminders of their baby's connection to the womb. I make no judgments about that. You do what you do. Let's see. And then obviously never pick at your newborn's belly button or cord. This could introduce an infection or an infected area. Okay, cool. Oh, look at that. We didn't even have to search. What causes innies and outies? Some babies have belly buttons that pop out because that's how the skin tissue healed. This is often called an outie belly button versus an innie that looks like a deep dimple. Outie belly buttons may or may not be permanent, but there is nothing you can do to prevent or change them. All right, that's an interesting. So it looks like it just kind of happens based off, how the skin tissue heals. Very, very interesting. All right, so we have, gone through and, kind of discovered a lot about, cleaning your baby's umbilical cord. Remember, we're not using alcohol. That is our best practice right now. Um, they are suggesting warm soapy water. You can use a Q-tip, pat it down to dry, or, kind of let it air dry or fan. It's kind of the things that we've been seeing. And, we wanted to look out for the typical signs of infection, which was, pus, um, bleeding, the skin becomes irritated, red, swollen, pink, moist bumps. We saw a few more. Uh, yeah, the foul smelling discharge, things like that. And what else did we learn? We learned that we are not going to pull or pinch or help the cord detach on its own, and to make sure that we wash our hands before touching the umbilical cord. It's perfectly fine if urine or poop gets um, in there. Just make sure that you clean it. Um, and let's see, make sure we call the pediatrician. Remember, if the cord does not come off in 3 weeks, yeah, make sure we covered everything. I think that's pretty much it. Oh, right, and we learned, that you can't choose whether your baby has an innie or an outie, and that it's just uh, the way the baby's body or skin heals together, and most importantly, not that all of those things were not important. They are important, but don't forget not to, again, uh, like scratch or, uh, scrape the belly button area after the umbilical cord falls off, um, or even before, just because, we want your baby to be and remain as healthy as possible. All right, that is it for today. Thank you so much for checking out the video. Who knew belly buttons and umbilical cords could be so interesting? Um, Again, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to our new channel named Mommy Like a Boss. And we're going to start featuring some entrepreneurial, information soon. All right. It's been fun, ladies. Bye.